Hello Susan, this is Group 2 consisting of Ishti Arora as a project manager, Saki as a subject matter expert, Gisleni as the head of legal and Abdul as the head of research. We are presenting on the topic wood pellet production. Hello, I'm the project manager. I'm going to talk about the purpose of our project, the business case, the business objectives involved, and the project description and its objectives. Talking about the project purpose or the justification, the main purpose of a project is proper utilization of waste woods and fallen trees. As we have seen that there are so many fallen trees laying around in Vancouver, there is no proper use for them. So by using these fallen trees as a raw material, we won't only be clearing the land but also creating a biofuel that will help us cut down the carbon footprints and help us reduce the effects of global warming and climate change. Also, by doing this project, we will generate employment opportunities for the people living in Vancouver and we will contribute to the economy. And the most important part would be we will generate awareness about the use of wood pellet as a biofuel for domestic purposes as well as industrial purposes. The business case involves the reasoning behind the project, why we're actually doing it, knowing the risks involved. The various objectives for our project are: number one, to decrease down the effects of global warming and cut down carbon footprint. Number two, to provide jobs to the people of Vancouver. Number three, to utilize fallen trees in Vancouver. Number four, to give people a clean biofuel. Number five, to remove residues from fallen trees to prevent forest fire. Number six, wood pellet production also creates a byproduct which is ash, and it can be utilized by farmers for agriculture purposes. Talking about the business objective, our major business objective is to meet the growing demand for energy. As we know, the population of Earth is increasing day by day, but the resources are limited. So we are aiming to create a biofuel in order to meet the demand for energy. Number two, to decrease the carbon footprint by avoiding the use of conventional sources of energy such as coal, which are major contributors for global warming. Talking about the project description and the project objective, the first objective is to decide the quantity and quality of the raw material used. We need to define how much of the fallen trees we're going to use and of what quality. The second objective is construction of the wood pellet plant, and it involves a series of steps. Number one, we need to select the design of the apparatus used, that is, the design of the grinder, the wood chipper, the pellet press, and the dryer. Second, to find an ideal location for our plant. Number three, acquire various permits such as the building permit, the emission permit, and the equipment permit. Number four, we need to select proper contractors and suppliers and various engineers and consultants. We need to train these personals as well. Then we need to do the procurement, which is the major step, and it involves various contract signing and shipping and actually purchasing the equipment. Then we need to assemble the equipment, and finally we'll prepare our building, and then we'll be ready for testing of a wood pellet production line and then handing it over to the concerned authorities.
Hello everyone, I'm Saki, the subject matter expert for our project team. Now I will tell you about wood pellet production line projects, success criteria, preliminary scope statement, our constraints, assumptions and risks. Our project is to build a wood pellet production plant. That's why our major criteria are to complete this plant and make it ready to produce wood pellets. Completion of the wood pellet will mean that the production line in all respects will be ready to use. To achieve this, we have some other criteria to be completed. We will conduct research activity to understand the compliance of our project with federal and provincial rules and bylaws. We will also do market search, identify the raw material, determine the financial supports and plant capacity. Finding the appropriate location should be done considering logistics, available employees, and other technical issues such as the availability of power, water, and gas. Once we have the location, the required permits such as building permits, emissions, machinery permits will be all obtained. Selecting the proper suppliers such as consultants, designers, engineering, manufacturing, assembling, logistics, and testing companies and other companies. Building needed to be prepared, and all the equipment will be manufactured according to design or drawings. Following the shipment of the equipment, they will be assembled on the site, and we will conduct testing to verify if the plant is working properly to produce desired quality of product. Our success will be approved by the products EN Plus legislation in compliance with the European wood pellet standards. And for the last, the staff members assigned by our clients will all be trained. Our preliminary scope statements, including picking the proper location, finding the right equipment, selecting the type of the desired raw material to have the proper quality of the end product, conducting market research for our products, and making the feasibility of our project. During the project, we will have 3 major constraints, including raw material, schedule, and location. And we assume we will buy the raw material from the sawmills around the plants, that we will get the waste trees from the forests for free. Emissions during the production process will meet the regulatory criteria set by the government of British Columbia. The end-to-end testing results will meet the desired product quality. All the contractors and consultants will perform their job adequately. We determined some risks for this project. The major risk is colored with red, defines changing bylaws, which will not allow us to use fallen trees as a raw material. Our plan A to mitigate this risk is to switching the raw material to sawmill dust. If it won't work, this plan won't work, we will run the contingency plan B and import the raw material from the province of Alberta. Our yellow-colored, less critical risk is faulty design of the equipment, and the least criticals are low quality of the end product and incorrect selection of the location. Our contingency plan also identified to mitigate these problems. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Laine. I am head of legal of the wood pellet production line project, and now I am going to talking about project deliverable summary and milestone schedule summary. About project deliverable summary, we have defined some main outputs that our project will provide to achieve the established goals. As a summary of deliverables in our project, we have wood pallets that are our final product, production line to be possible to make wood pallets, permits that are the official documents that authorize the operation of our production line, personal training to teach employees to work in this production, employment opportunities that we will provide in the city of Vancouver, designing drawings for the apparatus and for make the layout of the plant, that is how these machines will be replaced in the building, research about applicable legislation, marketing, competitors, financial support, product demand and definition of raw material, feasibility report to ensure that the project is viable, progress reports to check if the project is being developed as expected, and finally test results. At the end of the project, tests will be done to ensure that the production line will have the expected results. Now, I am going to talking about milestone schedule summary. As milestone schedule, we identify some intermediate points that are significant in this project. So, each of the phases will be properly verified to assess whether the goals and deadlines defined by the main stakeholders in the project have been met. As milestone schedule for this project, we defined 14 steps, which are research completed, design approved, location found, permits acquired, supplier determined, contract signed, purchase done, manufacturing controlled, shipment done, all items approved, building prepared, assembly completed, testing completed, and the last one is closed. This is our milestone schedule. Now, our head of research is going to talking about other important information of this project. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Abdul Basit. I'm the head of research of wood pellet production line. Now I'm going to talk about the summary budget, the stakeholder list, the project approval requirements, and finally the project authorization form of wood pellet production line. Let's start with the summary budget. The summary budget. In our wood pellet production line, the total estimated cost is $4,373,100 Canadian dollars. In phase 1, for the research, the cost is $6,200 Canadian dollars. In phase 2, for the design apparatus, the cost is $25,000. $3,000 Canadian dollars for find location in phase 3. In phase 4, for acquiring permits, the cost is $3,700 Canadian dollars. For supplier search in phase 5, the cost is $1,600 Canadian dollars. $4,210,000 Canadian dollars for procurement of our project. That's the significant cost of our project. For the preparation of the building, the cost is $81,000 in phase 7. For assembling, testing, and handover, the costs are $37,000, $4,000, and $1,600 Canadian dollars respectively. The stakeholder list. A stakeholder is an individual who is interested in, affected by, or influenced in a relationship of a project. Here are some individual and group of our potential stakeholder list of our project. The first is the Metro Vancouver government, some sawmills in Vancouver, the First Nations, wildlife services in Canada, which is known as forest rangers, some existing local wood pellet producer, Feed Tech, which is our main sponsor from Turkey, Wood Pellets Association in Canada, some banks in Canada, the engineering institution in University of British Columbia, the coal traders, some consultants, our project team, some contractor, local people in Vancouver. The project approval requirement. In our wood pellet production line, we need some project approval from external authorities. Here are some project approval which we will get from various sources. The first one is design approval. We will get design approval from Feed Tech in Turkey. The engineering and assembling supervision consultant will do our machinery approval and assembling approval. The testing approval will be done by engineering institution in University of British Columbia. The permits approval, we will get it from the government of Canada. We will get some permit approval from government authority in Vancouver. And finally, training approval, which we will get from Feed Tech in Turkey, which is our main sponsor. The last but not least is the project authorization form. The project authorization form, which is the standard form that says description of services provided by us. The project authority form may also have a reference of a statement of work document when we have requested of services. The authorization form will be the governance by the terms of the agreement. Here is one of our project authorization form. So that's all about our project of wood pellet production line.
As a final comment, we, the members of Group 2, highlight the importance of using biofuels. As we know, this world has been changed by coronavirus outbreak. There's so many crises that our Mother Earth is facing. So let's contribute to our Mother Earth and save our planet by using eco-friendly practices and using a biofuel that can help save our environment.